Relevant news.
Yeah.
Relevant news.
News. Yeah. Relevant news. See, we are that.
What?
Relevant news.
Hey.
Relevant news. Hey. That relevant news. Relevant news. Hey. I think more people like the hypeness of the relevant news than they actually like the relevant news there, Julian. Let me ask you a question real quick, Julian. How was your Halloween?
I'm sorry, my what?
How was your Halloween?
I don't celebrate that darn holiday, but I did get some feedback from posting our podcast.
Really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I got about 4 or 5 people that DM me on Instagram talking about the holiday and our decision. 3 people were for, 2 people were against, and we dialogued. I dialogued with all of these people, and it was actually a healthy dialogue with every one of the people where we we talked about what we viewed, how we viewed it, and all of that good stuff. You know what I mean? It was
That's
cool.
great. That's great. Actually, I got hit up as well, which is really cool. And basically, I realized maybe a lot of times I could be not in our search for the truth, but in our need to tell the truth without sugarcoating it. We could also walk that fine line of not being sensitive to some. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we don't want to be sensitive and stray from the truth, but we want to be sensitive in how we put the truth out there.
I think we did a good job of that because the people that DM me, none of them had animosity. They approached it in a way to where they actually approached it to have a conversation.
We'll have a reason for what I'm saying.
It was never anything bad. But yeah, go ahead. I was just saying from what happened with me, but go ahead.
I'm glad that nobody was hostile towards you. You know, you weren't getting like death threats sent to your house. That's always a good thing.
That is always a good thing.
But with me, I got hit up, which was great, but it helped me see we probably should have put a disclaimer. Because we weren't sensitive to some people that don't celebrate Halloween, have kids that go to public schools where Halloween is celebrated. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you have a 3 or 4 year old kid that dresses up in costumes all throughout the year. And you have all these kids, and this is innocent stuff, you know, all these kids, I guess, pressuring, costume talking, whatever, which could really hinder a child if they don't fully have the understanding. And it's hard for a child at that age to fully have this understanding that you have, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying a disclaimer to stray from the truth, but a disclaimer where maybe we should have talked a bit more about this aspect. Like, hey, this is the truth, hardcore, hit you in the face with it. But listen, we also understand that some situations are a bit tricky. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to come across where it was like, this is it, case closed, end of discussion. Whatever opinion you have is invalid because you're wrong. It's Halloween. Screw this, right? Reality is that there are some parents that struggle with sending their kids to schools that aren't Christian-based schools, and now they have to deal with how to communicate that to their kids that they can't go to school on Halloween. I mean, they can't go to school dressed for Halloween, right, and how that's going to impact the child and whatever. So it's just a topic of conversation. It's not really something where you say, well, maybe for that day it's okay. No, you don't compromise. I'm not saying, compromise. It's just a matter of saying I wanted to be more sensitive to that area. Just saying I realize that there are circumstances that are a bit tough in this realm of Halloween. And I didn't give any advice, but throughout the conversation, what was said was like, mind-blowing to me. She was like, you know what? I'm going to keep my kid home that day. I was like, amen.
Wow. See, that's
great.
If we don't give disclaimers on things, it's not because we don't recognize that there's obviously those anomalies that exist out there. What we're saying is this is the general overview of how we should look at it, because we're going to talk about a lot of types of situations, and if we give disclaimers for everything, the disclaimers are going to outweigh the information that we give, because you literally have to cover your ground every single time. So that's why we may not give it. It's not that we're trying to be insensitive. It's just that we're trying to attack the subject, and the subject matter that we speak of is what we're speaking of. And that's what should be kept in mind. So if you have a kid that's going to school that has to deal with that, you can keep him out of school and on that day and explain to him, listen, this is the reason why we don't dress up. This is the reason why we believe that this is wrong to do. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with dressing up being wrong, eating candy being wrong, or any of that stuff, or even parties. It's all in good fun. I understand that. But on this day, this is why it's important that we don't do it. it. So it's good to explain to your kid that, and a lot of kids, they will understand, and if they don't understand, they'll understand later. But when you take that time as a parent to lovingly speak to them like that, like it really does help them.
Did you tell your daughter that?
It'd be cool if I did and it worked just now, but if I would have tell her that, she probably respond.
Well, she got a subconscious, bro. She got subconscious. You start embedding those thoughts into her mind early. Then when you explain it to her when she's 4 years old and she not fully, but somewhat comprehends the English language, then she might be like, "Yo, Dad, you told me this back in the day. I respect you for that."
I have had to talk to people younger than me about it though.
Yeah.
And I had a real conversation with my nephew about it when he came over, because he came over on Halloween Day.
Oh, okay.
Because my mom's birthday is the next day, so he came Halloween Day to say happy birthday. But we talked about celebrating Halloween, and we had that discussion, that conversation, and he completely understood. He agreed with me. He doesn't celebrate it either. He actually said to me, it shouldn't even be called a holiday.
Yeah,
so
facts.
when you take that time he's a teenager, granted, but when you take that time to explain it to younger people, young adults or children, they will understand when they see that their parent with gracious eyes are looking at them and explaining, honey, this is why. It's just sad that most parents, they honestly don't. They just say no and then keep their kid away.
Yeah, that's true. So the reason I brought up the Halloween thing is because here's a quick story about the effects of what had happened. So, read this in the news here. A meth-laced Halloween candy sent Oregon parents to the hospital. Yeah. So, innocent Halloween trick-or-treating left two parents in an Oregon hospital on Thursday after unknowingly eating Halloween candy laced with methamphetamine. The unidentified couple fell ill after picking a bag of gummy candy, which resembled Sour Patch Kids, from their children's Halloween stash. The parents said that the bag appeared fully sealed. Earlier this week, a 5-year-old boy from Ohio also fell seriously ill after eating a piece of Halloween candy that tested positive for methamphetamine.
Wow.
It's like the drug of choice for people to put in candy. Listen, 364 days, and we're going to conclude Halloween because I don't want to give more attention to this than needed. 364 days of Halloween. 364 days in the year, you tell your kids, don't talk to strangers. You tell your kids, don't take anything from strangers. If a dude pulls up in a white van saying, "Here, kid, take this lollipop," your kid should be trained to run and scream. Okay?
Facts.
But on one day out of the year that has incredible demonic origins,
right,
it's all good for you to go to strangers' houses, blocks and blocks and blocks away, inner cities, and expect that somebody does not have evil intent.
Facts.
Keep a bag looking sealed and pop some methamphetamine in there.
Facts.
You could die.
Right. That's facts.
You think that they're going to know? You think that it's a joke, or it's somebody with ill intentions, or somebody that's demonically pressured or influenced to do that?
Right.
And it's one day out of the year, on the worst day of the year, in terms of demonic influence. Let's go get candy.
Demonic influence. That's facts. So let's go out while everybody's dressed up with masks on. You don't know who anybody is. They're dressed like evil people that kill. Let's go get candy from them.
Come on, guys. Seriously.
That's facts. That's a good point.
It's a time where we're supposed to quote unquote trust people. But can you teach you this is what you teach your kids all year. Don't trust nobody you don't know like that. And if a dude pulls up on you and somebody, "Here, take these gummy bears," you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, no, you tell them don't do that."
You hear about the kid that there was a stranger offered him money, and when he was giving him the money, he grabbed the kid, kidnapped him, put him in his car, and the kidnapper wound up actually letting the kid go because the kid would not stop
was
singing.
praising the Lord, right?
He was praising the Lord in the backseat.
So listen, if you not making light of not making fun of a bad situation, but if that happens to you, Christian or not Christian, I hope that you are Christian in this sense, but just start singing praises to God and don't shut up. One after the other, after the other.
Praise is to our God. Every word of worship, we're one.
That's it. Every praise is to our God. I'm telling you right now, that broke the chains in that car, man, and that kid was free because of that.
No! No!
It just shows you, though, the demonic influence over people's lives. And I believe that that's not some just regular human being with his will then being changed. I believe that that's if you have it in you to kidnap a kid, you have the devil all up in and through your will, okay?
100%.
And I'm sorry, that's wicked, that's evil, and that you doing that is wicked and evil. And if somebody's singing praises to God, and then that makes you let the kid up.
Exactly.
You're not just doing that because you're annoyed. You're doing that because the power of God was up in that car. Yes. And when the power of God is there, the devil's going to flee, huh?
Facts. This isn't the first time that's happened either.
Oh,
where
wow,
someone
really?
was singing praises to God and the kidnapper let them go.
Wow.
This isn't the first time. This has happened before.
Well, that's a lesson. Kids could teach you a lesson because that's a lesson for anything. I mean, think about when Paul got freed from prison, right? What happened when Paul got freed from prison? What were they doing? They were singing praises to God, right? And all of a sudden the chains just broke. Jail door opens up, like, yeah. Paul walked out of jail, like, yeah. What's up? Paul walked past the jail, and like, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
You got something to say?
You want to get saved or what? What's up? Okay, so
better get out my face. Save your soul.
Before you get this anointing real quick.